Welcome to MTV Cribs Van Edition. Today I'm going to be taking you guys on a tour of my van, Charlie. Hey you guys, my name is Samaya and this is my van, Charlie, where I live, and I'm going to be giving you a tour today. Every home has three things: electricity, water, and sewer. So I'm going to make sure that I pinpoint those for you, but we're just going to start in the kitchen because the kitchen is the heart of any home, and in this van it's no different. So let's start here with this because it's the first thing that you hit. This is supposed to be like a fruit carrier of some sort. I just be filling it up with all type of crap that I need. So up here we have air freshener because, you know. Also, we have these little lights that we use whenever I don't want to use the solar panel or waste any electricity. Candles, olive oil, my herbal supplies, are right here. These wipes that I use when I wash my face, I love these instead of having to use napkins and stuff like that. But we're going to take this down for this tour. So right here, when you first walk in, we have electricity. So I have a Renogy solar power system. So that's electricity, right? I said that every home has electricity, water, and sewer. It is built in here for you to turn the power on, boom, or you can turn it off. And then also for the lights in the van, it is a little dirty, but the van has lighting. The entire van is powered by solar. And the lights that I got, I had them installed because I was already making content before I got into van life, and I wanted to be able to record from anywhere, whether I had electricity where I wasn't, whether I was in a home or not. So I was always going to be able to work from here. All right, so next we have the cutting board. This is the cutting board / our desk. So homework is done here, stuff like that. But also, chopping is done here. I chose to put it here and put the kitchen right here. So that way, whenever I'm parked somewhere beautiful, I have a view. I'm not really like super excited to be in the kitchen. But if I'm going to be in the kitchen, I mean, come on, like it's a view, right? So that's this. I have a gas stove. I chose gas because electrical, again, this is solar powered. So if it's a gloomy day, sometimes I don't have enough electricity. But with gas, I'm also more comfortable with the gas stove. So even if I don't want to turn on the electricity, I'm able to use a lighter to light this. I prefer gas, that's all. They are hardwood topped. I have two different I'm breaking shit. I have a 2-eye gas stove. It's easy for me to know when the gas needs to be refilled. My sink also doubles as a shower head, so you could turn it on here, but also it actually extends out. So when you turn it off, there you go. So like at the beach, this is very helpful. It can also serve as a shower if I'd like it to, like if I'm in a secluded camping spot or something like that. Honestly, I don't really do that. I mostly use it for the beach. Like every home, this is where my plants are, some hand sanitizers. So kitchen-wise, we do have a microwave, and then this is where I keep all of our cleaning supplies as well as our gas tank that I have to refuel. And so we have all our cleaning stuff like a normal under the sink kitchen. I don't really use the microwave much, but when we're at a campsite and I can plug up to electricity, for sure. So under here, safety first. We definitely have to have the fire extinguisher. But the van contains 18 gallons of fresh water at all times. And then there is a 6-gallon gray water tank. And so gray water is basically the water that needs to be dumped. So after we wash dishes, brush teeth, and things like that, if this is empty, I know that the gray water tank is full, okay? So I also have a filter connected to our water system. So even if, now I don't usually drink out of this, but even if I did, it would be okay because it's already hooked up to a filter. I just prefer to get our drinking water from somewhere else. That way I just know that I have 18 gallons of water for dishes, or, if my son needs to take a bird bath, or, stuff like that. So this is enough water for us to be off grid if we use sparingly for like at least a week. Another thing to note is that when I first had this van built, I had it built in mind thinking that I would only be in here 50% of the time. This has some ups and downs. So for example, the size of the refrigerator that I got was because I thought I was only going to be in here 50% of the time. The electricity solar power pack that I got was based off of thinking that I would not be in the van full time. That has become a little bit of an issue as things change. Like last year, we lived in the van full time while my son was in school. And so I had to get a cooler because this fridge was just not big enough. And then I ended up getting a battery pack for electricity. So a part of the kitchen is, of course, the fridge. It's kind of empty right now because I'm going out of town on Thursday. And so we need to eat everything that's in here, okay? This, I don't have an ice maker, but I did get this offline, and so I'm actually going to try this later today because I want to make matcha from the van because y'all know that them $10 a day add up. But once I fill this up later, I'm actually going to put it in the fridge and see if it'll freeze. All right. So, oh, excuse me, I got guests. That's my bath towel. This is also the kitchen. So I wanted to make this a little more homey. This is my knife set. I just got a magnetic strip and, you know, bolted it to the wall. And I did these, you know, herbs and seasonings and things like that. I just thought that it would look more homey. I don't keep a lot of glassware, but I do have one wine glass, a tiny teacup, and a large teacup. If you look and see, this is how you got to keep stuff in place. Okay, you can be real cute, but stuff gonna fall. So I got this rack and drilled it in and then zip ties. So if there is anything wrong on this van, I'm a zip tied, okay? Zip ties be saving your life, all right? I also installed these shades so that way when we park, we're able to have privacy. There's one for this window and the large window, and then we have window covers for the back. All right, this is a container that I broke, and so now I use it for all of the utensils. Bread for my son's lunch, and then, you gotta watch it because sometimes things fall out. All right, so this was when I was on my mushroom coffee kick, but all our seasonings are here. Pancake mix, gotta keep that on hand, and then a container for our, you know, outer ends like honey and, you know, liquid smoke. What y'all know about liquid smoke? But yeah, all the seasonings and stuff like that is here. So every house has a full of junk drawer. This one is no different. This is where our forks and stuff is, and then crap, all kind of crap, okay? This is more so the drawer I use like whenever I'm gonna barbecue or like, yeah, more crap, okay? But just like a normal kitchen, just like your kitchen. Originally, this is where all of my pots and pans were, but now it's just the big stuff and the dry snacks, all right? Now, it look a little unhealthy in here. Don't judge that. But we live in a van, so we be by campfires all the time. Like, we have to have marshmallows on deck or my child gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy. We do also keep an air fryer similar to the microwave. We only really use that if we're at a campsite because they have power. I'm not gonna be wasting the solar power on this, like not unless it's like a real hot summer day and it's just excess sun, excess sun. And I'm not gonna pull all this stuff out because I'm not, but I'll tag a video below if you want to see all of the dishes that I have. They're all teal. Of course, clearly I have a habit. There's also a coffee machine under here, and I can use that for loose tea or coffee. Now, close your eyes for a second. This is my closet slash pantry, okay? Uh-oh. All right. Okay, now we ready. Okay, here's the pantry. Okay, so here are all our dishes that I was talking about, like the teal pots and pans and things. One thing I'm gonna do is cook, okay? I don't care where I'm at. We be eating, all right? Then I have a thing for mugs, which I can't really do a lot with. This is as many as I can have, but isn't this so cute? It's so small, like for the van. Clearly I've never used it, but I just had to have it when I was in, you know, Five Below. But yeah, so this is where the pantry is. All right. Sit down. Poor child, we having a video. Don't lay on my clothes. I already got you on the bed. All right, hold on so I can get my closet ready for y'all. All right, so let me show y'all my closet. So this is my closet, okay? This is just where I keep jackets, my long throws. I heard that only the 2000s have jean jackets now, which is crazy. Like, you can spot us by our jean jackets. There's mine. Yeah. In the club, we all wear jean jackets. Yeah. And then sweaters because, you know, Tic Tac got my ass and I had to get one in every color. So sweaters and that. So that's those things I don't really need all the time. So let's talk about storage and where some things are kept. Here is where all of our cleaning, hygiene, body smeller good stuff is. All right. So we do have a shower caddy so that way we can easily go in and out of the gym or wherever we're showering. You know, I'm good for pulling up at a friend's house and, oh, what? You need anything? Yeah. Can I get your shower up off you? Okay. So there's that. And then this is a Black household. So it's a whole bunch of creams and hair supplies that we don't really use. And then mouthwash because, so as far as, this is a regular Black household, okay? We do have trash bags, but baby, we're going to use these grocery bags, okay? So up here is where I store most of my clothes, all right? So stay tuned for a magic trick. Okay. Got sound bowls. Okay, so this is a hammock. I have 4 hammocks on this van. That's crazy. All of my clothes fit up here because I use the vacuum bag thingies. I'm sure at this point I've probably inserted a clip of me actually doing it versus me poking up here. My sound bowls are up here. And also 2 things that we really need. So this is the internet that we use for the van. This is the internet that we use. All right. And it just picks up internet wherever you are. So far, I like it. I don't remember the name of the company, but, I'm sure I'll do a voiceover and figure it out and still ask them to pay for this. This is what we use for music on the van. I think it's real cute and whatnot. And it plays like, like a, what's that called? Dang, I can't remember. A record player. It's like a little record player. And then you just put this right here. And then it blocks it. So nobody can see all your junk. And then that's how it works. So the other thing in the kitchen is this chalkboard. When I originally got this van, it was actually a white wall and I had art on it and things like that. But when we moved in the van full time, homework is a big thing. Like it shows up and being interactive and hands-on is very important. So I actually converted this to a chalkboard wall so that way my son can use it and it's right here next to his desk. And then we usually put a word of the day up here. Dang, where will, oh, Charlie. Hold on, Charlie, hold on. Okay, my little fat fingers. So on the floor, I'm going to have to pick this up, so I'm going to show you out here. This is actually a rug that came from my last business, the Content House. So if y'all didn't know, I used to own this 10-bedroom mansion that I converted into a content space, and it didn't work out, and I live in a van, so I couldn't really take much with me. But I did take this, and it's really nice. Now, I do have to sweep a lot more than usual, but it's nice having a little token from the past. This is actually our desk chair. I'm not going to put it out right now because I have it like all the way up so that way it doesn't fall out. But my son moves this and he sets up his desk for homework. And then up under here, we actually have all of his school supplies that he needs and also our coloring stuff because, I'm good for a picnic and some coloring for sure. We also have our laundry bag under here. All right, so here is where we keep our skates and shoes and whatnot. Also, I keep a large cord for when we camp in here. That way I can always get electricity, sandals, running sneakers, our skates, of course. When I first got this van, I actually broke this drawer and actually had to add this because when I stopped, it would swing out. Then under here, we have an electrical blanket. My son has some clothes under here, but also we have all of our swimming stuff. So life jackets, for the child, for the dog, hiking boots, all of that is under here. Okay, this dog has grown on me. Yes, he gets to get on the bed. This bed actually changes into a picnic table, and I just keep it as a bed because when you change it into the picnic table, you have to store all of these covers and pillows and things, and I used all the space, so I can't do that. That's why we have that desk over there. Woo! Pork chop, don't fall. All right. So this is the back of the van. When we're driving, this is one of those hammock chairs I was telling you about. I usually put it on the bed so it doesn't fall over. All right, so underneath the bed there is a full storage. I call it the garage. I store my electrical system under this side, and then under this side is pure storage. I put this cover here so it doesn't look so ugly. My grill, my workout weights, fishing poles, my lawn chairs, extra tissue. I have a suitcase in case I need to, travel on the ready. Fly out somewhere, no excuses. I have everything I need right there. So in this cabinet, I have extra kitchen items. So I have our waffle maker, our NutriBullet, spaghetti sauce. And this one, lights, if I need them, extra bags or purses for like when I go on hikes, and my tripods or anything I need for like recording like that. On this side, I have tools, a hammer in case I gotta whack somebody, a survival book because TikTok got me. I have some tools that I've never used, a first aid kit because I don't want to be irresponsible. Our swim towels, I have 2 hammocks right here that I can pull out and just take with me, like if we go on a hike or at the park. I have wood glue because things break. Window covers, these are for our windows at night. Bath towels, an iron, tape, and the electrical cords for our electrical blanket, right? All right. So now we have, I guess, my electrical setup. We talked about it being solar power. Portia, oh man. So we talked about the van being solar powered, but other electrical things that we have going on. Here is the thermostat. This van does have heat back here. I can't get it to work, but the word is that it's there. This is for our projector here, and our projector is actually stored in here. And this is actually a blind. It is zip tied so that way it doesn't fall down when I'm driving. Electrical blind, and it just worked perfectly in here. We just click it and it comes down and we lay right here and watch a little movie. A mirror for getting ready. I do not like that it's by the bed, feng shui, but it's the only place I could put it for now. And then as you can see, we have lights that we turn on at night when we park. Yeah, so it's lit up around here. I'll put in a picture so y'all can see what it be looking like at night. The number one question that I'm asked, because I have shown y'all the water, I have shown y'all the electricity, is the sewer. Where do you use the bathroom? And well, here is the bathroom. And so it has a stopper here, and you move that up, and then you pull the toilet out. I'm not going to touch the toilet and go about my day right now because I don't need it. So maybe I'll insert a video here.
You using the bathroom?
No! Insert a video of, the toilet coming out, how to use it. I'll take y'all along with me on a chores day because that's a whole nother topic. But it has tissue and wipes and, even a toilet brush cleaner. And I have special shoes that I wear when I clean the toilet, so not to be confused with anything. But yeah, and I chose to put it here so that way when you pull it out, the door, is right here. So there's a view, just like when you cook. Like, if you're in the middle of the woods, you pull out the toilet and, it's a good meeting place. Then you have the holder for the paper towels. There are also lights all around the van. Not saying that I don't trust the solar power, but I have a child and emergencies. I just don't ever want to be stuck without lights. Also, I have two vans. I have 2 fans, and they actually work really well as far as like air. When you open the back doors, it creates kind of like a circulation of some sort. Uh-oh, we gotta screw this in. Real people making real content. So yeah, it has a ventilation system. So let's talk about the front. This is something that matters. When I let this seat up, it actually lets me pull out our mirrors. So I am a mirror person. And so there's actually a full-length mirror here. Here, let me move this out the way. All right. And it's there. And I also put this out at night. So that way, if someone walks by, they can't actually see back there. And I've filmed at night and then walked outside to see if you could see us. And you could not. So that's nice. And then you just let the seat back and it locks it in place. So now it doesn't move. And so I used this system twice. I used it here for the mirror and I used it there for the chair that goes under the desk. They don't move. All right, so here are the last 2 spaces. We got to use all the space. Here behind the passenger seat, we have some extra shoes. We have a vacuum because you cannot have a dog on here without a vacuum for sure. We have extra things of water. We have a Jackery. All right, so we use that to charge up stuff. And my yoga mat is back there. On this side, I keep my running shoes right behind the chair. Running is a little misleading, but I guess I keep my shoes that I go walking in. The dustpan and the broom. This is a towel for the specifically for the floor anytime we come in a quick mess or anything. And then this is a jump box for the van and an umbrella for the beach. So yeah, we have everything in here. Is there anything else that I'm missing? All right, so the dog is a paid actor. So the van itself is a Ram ProMaster 2500. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Honestly, I found a van from the dealership and I took it to this couple who had a company at the time and they built it out for me. They were in Denver. They have since closed down. This was in 2022. I know a lot of people like to run off their specs of like their solar and like the van and things like that. I have the van the way that it came, and I have the solar energy system that they installed, okay? So if I have an issue, I go to another solar place and talk to them about it. And I say that not to disregard that information, but not to discourage you if you don't know all that stuff, okay? One of the reasons that I went to a builder was because I needed to be able to trust that the van would work on its own. I was not in a space to do a build your own and learn about all the things. And so I bought a van that was brand new, so that way I didn't have to invest into anyone else's problems. And I got a builder that put all the systems in there for me that we agreed upon and went from there. So as far as like my setup in the front, I have my little sticky tripod thing so that way I can record my show on the road. I have a pillow for my back because your girl is short. My son sits in the front seat, so he has his seat is covered in dog hair because as soon as he gets out the car for school, the dog jumps in his seat. Come here, Pork Chop. Get up here. Come on. Now it looks like you don't really do it. Okay. Down here is Pork Chop's bed. So when we drive, I told him he could go back there in the back, but he don't ever listen. He always want to be up here with us. So this is his bed for when we drive. And then here are all of our plugs. This lets us charge everything from laptops and all that stuff while we drive. So that way I don't have to use the solar power. So we try to just charge things while we're driving. I keep an Atlas at the top. These are my son's little knickknacks, allergy medicine, brush his hair, things like that. I do love this van. I did choose this one because it is the tallest out of most of the vans without it being a foreign car, because I didn't want people be having issues like with their BMW and getting parts and stuff like that. I didn't want to have that in my car and my house, okay? So yeah, so this is the van and I got like some wind chimes to make it more homey. It's the little things. So I love this van build. There's not a lot that I would do differently outside of like maybe the fridge being a little bigger and maybe a little bit more solar power, but my workarounds work really well. And just let me know if you have any more questions about my van setup, and you can watch this full video on YouTube now. So bye.